cloud. There we go. And hopefully people will be jumping on quick. Everybody typically comes on about 2 minutes late, but that's okay. So, hey, Wendy, welcome. Awesome. I forgot to set this to like mute everybody as they jump on, so I'll have to catch people. Let's see, it looks like we're going pretty good here. Mute, cues on, mic's on. All right, mute. And all right, there we go. Hey, everybody. Oh, my husband jumped on. What are you doing? I knew you would. Anyways, so here we go. And so just in case you don't know, we're actually still out in California right now. Just literally barely an hour ago, finished up our Thrive Connect Mastermind. Thrive is the Make Money Matter entrepreneur event rated by Forbes magazine as like the #1 entrepreneur event. And it's through Thrive Connect more specifically, that we get a lot of this information as far as like leadership goes and, you know, the trainings and stuff like that. So I just want to kind of come on and do some summarization. I'm not going to go through like everything we learned this weekend, but I'm going to kind of give you what for me were the biggest highlights at the moment and kind of go into some of that. So, and there was a multitude of speakers. It was amazing. But what I really want to kind of go over was get a load of this. The theme for the weekend actually was sales, marketing, and leadership. So it was like totally amazingly perfect timing, to be honest, for everything what's going on with like all of us, with our LifeVantage businesses. You know, it completely encompasses what we do, both individually for our own business, but as a team, whether you're in our direct downline organization or Team LifeVantage as a whole. But even more than that, actually, it also affects how we live life and how we show up in life, you know? So there's always going to be that component. So I thought it was pretty good. And so like one of the first things as I was kind of reviewing my notes that I wrote down was the definition that they were one of the guys was using about leadership. And he said leadership is the availability and courage to show up. So the availability, whether it's time or whatever, but greater than that was the courage to show up. And I don't know about you all, but for me, I sometimes, you know, struggle with some of the fears of actually fully showing up, you know, getting caught in my own mind sometimes even, and I don't bring my A game to the table. So the leadership was being the ability and courage to show up. So I thought that was pretty powerful. And so I wanted to kind of use some of that for here. And then one of the other first things to kick off the weekend was about listening to the information that's presented to you and how to avoid that overload. You know, it's amazing when we get tons and tons of great information, and then you sit there and you look at it and you try to decipher it all, and it's like it becomes overwhelming. It's like this is all amazing information, but it can sometimes become so overwhelming you end up doing nothing with it. So we want to help make sure that you all are empowered. And I thought how they share this was very powerful to like break it down into nuggets. But even besides that, look at it for 3 buckets, or take your notepad or whatever and do 3 columns and break it down into things that you're going to implement and execute upon basically now, like within the next few days to a week. Categorize it in the bucket of things that you need to work on, implement, or execute within the next 30 days. And then that last bucket or third column is information of things that you want to change, execute, implement 90 days or beyond. So that not everything is I must make this change here and now, because that's where things can sometimes get overwhelming, overloaded. And then, like I said, I don't know about you all, but for me, I tend to pull back and then end up doing nothing. So to try and avoid some of that doing nothing and being overloaded, just review your notes, sit down and say, okay, this is something that I think is pertinent that I need to implement now. This is something that, is really good. It's important, but maybe it can wait 2-3 weeks before I start to, tackle that project or implement that. And then again, the same thing in that third category of this is good stuff, but it's not going to affect my business or my personal life right here, right now. So 3 months, 4 months from now, then I'm going to start to take care of that stuff. So that was very important. And I think as we go to LVAs, as we go to our elite academies or conventions, all the information that they teach us is all very good, very valuable information. But to help us not get that sensory overload, turning into confusion and then doing nothing, is as you're even taking your notes, color code them. Red are things that need to be changed now, blue are things that should be changed in the next 30 days, and green are things to be changed in 90 days. Some kind of color code system or highlighter system or, whatever, or 3 columns to really kind of help organize so that we can remain organized ourselves and make the changes that we might need to do. Something else that I thought was kind of powerful is we often hear about, we want to live our lives to leave a legacy. What kind of a legacy are we leaving for our families, for future generations? And they said, don't only live your life concerned about leaving the legacy, but live your life as a legacy, even right now. And it's like, well, what do you mean exactly by that? Make that impact in somebody else's life now with that legacy, whether it's through the finances that we gain and we can help change lives for people who are less fortunate than us, or the words that we speak to them, the hugs, the way we make other people feel. We're always taught that it's like facts tell, but stories sell. People remember stories because of the emotional connection. And as we share our lives, our stories, our business, our products, people are going to remember how we made them feel. And for me, I think that's part of living that legacy now. How are we impacting other people's lives now? And there's something else I was just starting to think on that, and I just sort of lost it. But all right, if it comes back to me, I'll bring it back to it. One of the guys said, he asked the question, is what you are doing a passion or an obsession? And, so many of us are like, we're passionate about our products. We're passionate about network marketing. We're passionate about our families. But he kind of challenged us and said, passion's not it. Don't go after your passions. It needs to be the obsession. And this is something I'm going to give a shout out and kudos to my husband about, especially in the beginning with LifeVantage. His passion was an obsession. That's how he single-handedly grew our business to the elite rank, because it was more than just a passion. It was an obsession. He was obsessed with changing other people's lives. He was obsessed with getting these products into the people he loves and cares about. And so your passion is, yes, it's emotional. Yes, it's important, but is it enough to actually drive you to do the behaviors that you need to really be successful? So I thought that was actually kind of, powerful for me. And with that kind of goes the mindset shift. And you hear us talking about this frequently. We got to shift our thoughts, shift our mindset, because it's in here that the battle is, that holds us back out of fears or whatever. And so changing the thought of avoiding failure, we don't want to take that step because what if we're not good enough? We don't want to share because we don't know exactly what to say or how to share, right? So if we can change that mindset, that thought from, I'm not going to do anything because I don't want to fail, to I'm not avoiding failure, but I'm walking towards success. In order to walk towards success, you kind of have to go from bad to a little less bad, to getting better, to getting good, to getting or becoming amazing. So we're not necessarily avoiding failure, which is sometimes a really good motivator, but unfortunately, just as much as it's a motivator, I think more often it's a hindrance. People don't like to fail. I don't like to fail. It's been a hindrance in my own life and in my business, right? So changing that thought of, I don't want to, I want to avoid failure, to, I'm going to walk towards success instead and slowly improve. And you've heard it said before, done is better than perfect. Practice makes perfect. You can't get good if you're not first bad, right? So I thought that was pretty good. And then I kind of wrote this down a little bit more for our business with like the Hefluence. And then as I started looking at it and thinking about it, I think this is something that everybody should have, just even in their own personal life. It's going to make you a better leader, a better entrepreneur, a better family member, a better parent, a better spouse, just a better person in general, to have your own personal vision and mission statements. And the vision is what you want to accomplish in life, who you want to help or how you want to impact. What is that legacy that you want to live and leave? That's your vision. If you don't have that vision, you don't know what that legacy is. You're not going to live to your fullest, to who God created you to be. And then the mission statement is the how you're going to accomplish all of that. And for many of us, Life Vantage is part of our mission statement. We want to build this business so we can have time freedom and financial freedom, so that we can move forward and live and leave that legacy. So if you can kind of think about that, it goes right along with our whys. What's your why kind of a thing. So the vision and mission statements are basically that. What's your why? Why are you doing Life Vantage? Who do you want to impact? How do you want to impact people? And then how does Life Vantage fit in that to get you to where you want to go? And yeah, go ahead, honey. Unmute yourself and comment.
Hey, I just wanted to reiterate, guys, on what Lisa just said. A lot of you guys, you guys would have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to hear what my wife just spoke to you guys. I hope that you guys will encourage other people to come on and understand. We just sat in a group of and heard people speak that were millionaires and billionaires, and the significance of that is that a lot of them came from poverty, came from eating out of trash cans. We heard a guy speak today, and every single one of them had a vision and a purpose to finish what they started, to eliminate distractions, really find out the why, whether that's your you know, everything you do can't be about money. It has to be about vision and purpose and things that you need to do to be able to accomplish that. So if you guys can figure out what your why is, no matter how many times you hear somebody talk about it, and then take action, guys. Be intentional about what you do and implement these things today. So go ahead, babe. I'll share again in a minute, but I just wanted to share on top of that. Thanks.
Okay, of course. It's teamwork, right? Team Huey. Excuse me. So that, again, it might be it's the same thing framed and said in a different way. What's your why? What's your vision? And then what's the mission on how to accomplish that vision? And so part of the issue, I think, too, is we sit there and we think things can't be done. And that was also that mindset change. Change the it can't be done to how can it be done? You know, and the examples was from Naveen Jain. You've heard us talk about him before, was, you know, people living on the moon. Well, people can't live on the moon. Well, why not? How can people live on the moon? You know, what are the problems of living on the moon? You know, the oxygen, the ground, the atmosphere, da 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 da. So how can people how can people get the oxygen they need to live on the moon? Help with that problem solving mindset. Who's not muted? Oh, there we go. So yeah, exactly. Thoughts become things. When we look at something with that immediate, well, it can't be done attitude, it goes back to, if you think you're right, or if you think you're wrong, you know, if you think you can, rather, or you think you can't, you're always right. If you think you can't accomplish something, you're absolutely right, because your mind isn't there. But if you think you can accomplish it, and you ask those how can I accomplish it questions, you know, what are those objections? You know, we've talked about this at LVAs and stuff, overcoming objections. So by knowing those objections, knowing those questions, we can then address it and change those objections, those fears, those whatevers, into how can we? So that's a pretty powerful thing. You've got your hand raised.
100%. Guys, listen to this. The things that are holding you back are your limiting beliefs in what you're capable of doing. Because you hear it all the time. It's about insanity. It's about taking and condensing your thought when you know you have something that you're supposed to do, and your limiting beliefs that it's like one of the last guys that shared here this weekend talked about how he was doing door-to-door sales, and he was doing it wrong, and he kept doing it wrong, and he kept doing it wrong, and he finally had somebody said, why don't you stop doing it wrong? And he was like, no one ever told me that. And he said, why don't you take action on the things that you know you're supposed to do, and stop limiting your beliefs that you're capable of learning things and then taking them and putting them into action. And then he started making 30 grand a month, 50 grand a month. He started, and what happened was then he became into network marketing, and he started implementing those types of systems and became successful. So I just wanted to share that real quick because he just actually walked by me, which was kind of funny. So you can go ahead, babe.
Okay, no problem. And right in that is the mindset, the belief in yourself. Sometimes we believe in the system. We understand the system. We know what to do, and that the system works. We trust the system, but we don't trust in ourselves. We don't believe in ourselves. And one of the things that he said was, the day you fall in love with yourself is the day that the world falls in love with you. Let that sink in for a moment. The day that you can fall in love with yourself, accept yourself for who you are, where you are, struggles, faults, successes, failures, accomplishments, everything, knowing that we are a work in progress. We're not perfect. We're never gonna be perfect. But when we can have that, again, it constantly goes back to that mindset shift that even, done is better than perfect. You have to be bad before you can work your way up to good and great. So embrace yourself, love yourself, stop self-sabotaging. And that was something that was pointed out, people tend to self-sabotage. It's like, if you expect to fail, you're going to find every single reason to validate why you're going to fail. And one of the examples had to do with social media ads and things like that. And it's like, yeah, thinking, ad copy's not good or da-da-da-da-da. Is like, well, ads aren't going to work because I've already got this attitude that, yeah, it works for them, but it's not going to work for me. And then you kind of hear something like YouTube ads is the thing. Is it, see, that's why my ads didn't work because I'm not doing it right. You already had that expectation. And it's like I said, if you think that you're not going to be successful, you're right. But if you think you are going to be successful and you put forth the work, you're right.
Yeah, and hey, babe, guys, think about it like this. When you write down a list of your core values of who you are and what you stand for, the only person that allows you guys to not be successful is yourself. Because you allow yourself to get involved in something, people tell you no, and you stop sharing. Or you go and you listen to a course and you learn how to do things on Facebook, you learn how to add tag message, but then you don't block out time in your schedule. Like some of the things that Lisa and I are implementing, unplugging the television, putting our phones away for certain times, working hours. And guys, it will all start when you start implementing these things. And I know Lisa's close to finishing her last couple topics, so I'll let her finish. But I want to encourage you guys just to take notes on what she's saying. Go back and watch this recording and take some notes and implement some of these things.
All right. So, and then the next couple of things that I wrote down is addressing, again, your belief system. But I'm going to be blatant and bold because I've needed it. I've had to hear it. And maybe some of you need to hear it. It's okay to make money. It's okay to be successful. Sometimes we have this deep-seated root belief lie, plain and simple, that we're not good enough. We don't deserve to live a financially wealthy life. Or we don't have what it takes. So if you're that person that was kind of like me that needs to hear, it's okay to live that financially healthy life, wealthy life as well, then I hope you embrace that thought. And part of the thing was, sometimes we have that problem with asking people. My husband's talked about it before. People don't join because you just don't ask them. They might be ready, they might be willing, but you never actually verbalize, are you ready to get started with me? And so therefore they don't, because we never ask, because we feel like for whatever reason, we can't bring ourselves to ask those words. We can't, we don't deserve to have them on our team or whatever. And so one of the things was that money is a vehicle for exchange. Especially if you go through the history of money and everything, there is a value to this pen. All right. This pen has a stated value of, let's just say, $1.55, right? So if you want this pen and I have this pen, what are you going to give me in exchange? What is this pen worth? It's worth $1.55. This is, I know, a pretty poor example, but it's in front of me, okay? And so if I don't have the guts, I need the money to be able to get some food, and I have a pen you want, and you've got money, I need to go ahead and say, this pen's going to cost you $1.55. You give me the $1.55, I give you the pen, I then take that $1.55, and I go buy myself a banana and an apple. Like I said, these are pretty poor examples, but you get what I'm trying to say.
The thought process, babe.
Exactly.
Right? It's the thinking. It's the thinking of, guys. It's the thinking of what Lisa is trying to say is, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to tell you what my wife and I think about is we think we have a moral responsibility to share this information with people because of the impact that we can make on them long term. Like, we can literally change the direction and the future of somebody's life physically and financially. And you guys were entrusted with, like Lisa just said, you were entrusted with the pen. You were entrusted with the pen to be able to sell that pen to feed your family or whatever you do.
Write the storybook, novel, screenplay, something that would give value in exchange.
Yeah, and that's the perfect example, because you guys have heard Lisa and I teach the us versus them, right? Like, we have to be different than those people out there who won't ask people to join us, who, they're the ones that sit on the fence and don't say, hey, I know you need my pen, but why don't you come back tomorrow, or we'll meet on Tuesday or Wednesday. So great example, babe. I love the pen. I'll buy the pen from you.
Cool. And so we get caught up in that lack of confidence, lack of, well, gee, it's only $1.50. Maybe I should just go ahead and give it to you. And, I don't need that apple and banana right now, kind of a thing. But if I mess up the close, and this is kind of what is said, and this is how I apply it with this. If I mess up the close by not asking for that $1.50, not only am I suffering because now I don't have what I need, that value exchange with the money to go get what I need for myself or my family, but that person, you are messing their life up. Because if you don't have the confidence in yourself to ask for the exchange, ask them to join your business, ask them to take the products. If you don't have the confidence in the product line that we are offering people, the business model we are offering people, we are doing them not only a disservice, because I know I've said that before, but guess what? We are actually impacting their lives in a negative way. Their life will suffer because we don't have the confidence to say, will you join us in business? Will you take these products? Their health is going to suffer because we are too afraid to bring it to the table to ask for that exchange, And so they're going to spend that money. They're going to spend what they have either with you or with somebody else. And right now, there is nothing better than our product line. There is nothing better than our ground floor opportunity with LifeVantage. So they're going to be wasting their money trying to find what we have to bring to the table for them. Success and failure comes down to the conviction, the belief in yourself that you are going places with or without them, and that you can help them live a healthier, better life. And so trust the process, trust the system, trust that you're not going to be perfect the first time around, but you will get better.
And hey, babe, think about it like this too. I'm going to add on top of what Lisa just said. It's the reason why a lot of you sign people up with a silver or a gold pack, okay? Because you don't believe that you're capable of asking people to spend money when people are on their hands and knees praying for something. Like people in this room, you know, here, who we've got started on the products. They're just on the products, but have had gut issues for a long time, and they're getting better. And people, doctors in the room that are taking the products. And you know why? Because we freaking asked them to join us. Some of you, it's like I see Ben on. Like when I look at Ben's videos on the car deal, on the way he details cars, if he only asked somebody to pay $50, he's undershorting himself, because I would pay him $200, right, to do that. So your limiting beliefs are holding you back from helping other people. And this may be tough on you guys, but you want me to tell you why? Because Lisa and I just had our lives changed, and it would be a travesty if we didn't challenge you guys and share this information. So thank you for sharing that, babe.
Yeah, and right along that, it's if you don't value yourself, if you don't love yourself and have the confidence in yourself, the skill in yourself, the day you fall in love with yourself, the world will fall in love with you. But if you don't have that own self-worth, self-esteem, nobody's going to have it for you per se. If you are asking somebody to, you know, this is the best pen in the world, and I don't know it, or I know it, but I just don't portray the confidence that this is the best pen in the world. This pen will write you your manuscript, and I know it. If I have that posture and that belief that this pen is the pen you need so that you can be successful, so you can make that impact in the world, you're not going to believe it unless I can, you know, portray that confidence, that posture, that mindset, that self-belief. If I'm coming to you with, yeah, this pen's good. Yeah, you need the pen. So yeah, you know, here's a pen for you. And the next person over there is like, this is the pen for you. And I'm going to charge you $2 for that pen, even though I could get it cheaper, but they believe in that pen much more than you believe in your pen. They're not going to buy that pen from you. I'm sorry, I just keep giggling about this pen, but still.
I'll still buy the pen, babe. I'll still buy the pen. I got
you
one
have
down here.
You're
It's funny that you're bringing that up, because she tried to steal my pen yesterday, because she told me my pen that my pen was better than hers. She's funny. She's bringing it up. She didn't think about that, because
That's true.
my pen was really better than hers.
So I just want to kind of go over something, the system, really quick. I didn't mean to hit the stop recording. Is it recording? Okay. I meant to hit the share screen button here real quick.
Wendy wants your pen. See, Wendy, you can't have the pen.
This is going to be a big joke now. I know it, right? All right. Let me share this, because I think this is very pertinent. This was something I was going to share before, but Jason actually was able to get on the call. And so with that close, with that vehicle, or that asking people to join us kind of posture and things, I just wanted to sort of review what our system training goes over, you know, for the follow-up. The close begins with the follow-up immediately, or the third touch, fifth touch, sometimes even 10th touch. So some of the follow-up things are, you know, the examples about what did you like best about what you heard? Or on that scale of 1 to 10, how interested are you in joining? Are you ready to sign up? To help you make a decision, what more information might you need? Someone's not muted. I bet you it's probably my husband.
Oh, it's me, babe. I'm sorry.
All right, no worries. I could just hear the traffic. Thank you. So, those are just some examples. If they're not ready right then and there to join, make sure you give them homework to help you make that decision. What additional information might you need about products or company or the business model? Always give them some homework to do. If they're attending the meeting, send them home with something tangible. That's what I love about the tear-off sheets. And sit face-to-face. People love tangible things. And here's a little side note on that. One of our speakers was talking about he was trying to give away a digital PDF type of thing. He couldn't give it away, right? He couldn't give it away. But then when he's like, okay, well, I'll load it on the thumb drive and I'll sell you the thumb drive with the exact same information. I'll sell you the thumb drive for $5 plus shipping and handling. So I'm selling you this thumb drive for $5. But then if you want the immediate digital access to download it, it's another $10. How crazy is that? But
awesome.
That's proof.
Isn't that awesome?
That's proof
awesome
of people want something tangible.
Yeah. Hey, babe, it's like when you sign up a customer and you give them some Axio. It's like, hey,
yes,
you guys
have
the Axio sampling stuff. Just be proactive when you have, we give Axio to people and they're like, okay, I want some. Okay, I want some. Okay, I want some. Then it gives you a conversation piece to tell them about what you're doing, and you get them on more products, and then the next thing you know, they're a $200 customer.
Yeah. So it was funny. He had to sell them a $5 thumb drive, upsell them another $10 for an immediate digital download. But he couldn't give away the digital download. I mean, that just blew my mind. So that's where people want something tangible. So that's where the tear-off sheets are amazing. All right. If you're over the phone call, ask them to view a more detailed webinar. Let's see. Here we go. Continue. If your prospect claims that they're really not interested, keep in touch with them, because remember, a lot of times they're not interested, or they're saying no because they don't have the full information yet. They don't know. They're naive, for lack of a better word. So if we can lovingly follow up with them, touch base with them, share some new information with them, but not in that, being a pest way, as I said, lovingly, periodically, eventually they will probably be your biggest, best business builder for you. The strongest prospects still require at least 5 follow-ups before they consider joining your team. So plan on reaching out, re-inviting every 60 to 90 days. Bring them up to speed with things that are happening. Our new product line launch, the technology of the apps, things like that, or whatever your prospect or friend would be interested in. Resolve those concerns. Learn how to question their questions. Make sure that you're understanding exactly their objection or their questions that they're asking. So remember, their questions are going to basically revolve around, does this really work? Will this work for me? So those objections are, resolve concerns about that. But also don't forget, those objections and their questions are testing your own convictions and your own belief. Going back to that confident posture that you know what you have to offer. Not only with LifeVantage opportunity, not only with our LifeVantage amazing products, but you yourself have an amazing gift to offer to other people just by your friendship, by your love. So have that self-confidence in that belief in who you are and what your gift is. And that kind of goes back to that, what's your vision for your personal life and what's your mission statement to help you get there? And if you're not sure about those, specific questions, don't forget about the feel, felt, found. I don't know about that, but what I do know is I can understand, I see how you feel. I felt the same way, but then I found out the truth that these products are science validated. These products actually are patented. And, I know in order for something to get a patent, it very rarely, if ever, happens to natural products. It's usually drugs or other things. So that closed part is where the success and failure comes down to conviction. Believe you're going to go places. Believe that you have something valuable to offer from yourself, from our products, from our opportunities. And that believe that you will reach your goals. Know that you have what it takes. You are surrounded with a group of people on this call and not on this call that believe in you, even when you're not even able to believe in yourself, that are going to help you reach your goals. But you have to be clear. I can't help you reach your goal if you can't articulate exactly what your goal even is. And likewise, no one can help me reach my goal unless I know exactly what my goal is. I might not necessarily have the foresight to figure out those steps to get there, but if I know my end result, we can work backwards from that to get that action plan in place for each other. And that's part of what our accountability should be doing as well, talking to your accountability partner about that. This is my goal. I'm not quite sure how to achieve it, how to map it out. Is it 2 distributors a month? Is it 5 distributors a month? How do you actually get those what are those action steps to get to your goal? And I don't mean just a financial dollar amount or a specific rank. Have it be more heartfelt, be more meaningful. What would achieving that dollar amount do for you, for your life, for your loved ones? What is that vision you have that the mission of attaining this dollar amount is going to be like? So anyways, the last 2 things on that close was, I already said it. Would you like best? How do you see yourself getting involved? So that, my dear friends, let me stop sharing. Stop share. And that's all I got.
Hey, babe, let me make one last comment before you let them go. Hey,
Okay.
guys, look, some of you have accountability partners, and I've talked to some of them, and some of you guys have not been meeting on a regular basis, okay? And that doesn't work, all right? You all have other responsibilities and jobs. I'm sorry, there's an airplane going over. If you guys can see how beautiful it is, I don't know if you guys can see me, but it's pretty freaking pretty awesome out here. But my accountability partner happens to be one of my clients, and if you guys need to invest in the time in yourself to meet with your person every week. Lisa and Carla have met every single week on the phone and encouraged each other and challenged each other. So, guys, the time is now. The most of you want to reach that influencer program that's going on right now. So, guys, take the action. I'm going to sign off, and Lisa's going to sign off too, because I want her to come back down here with me so that we can mingle with some of these people and learn some more things to share with you guys. Because, guys, look, we love it that there's 20 or 30 of you on here, because guess what? You're the 20 or 30 that we're going to do life with for a long time. But we want 40 or 50 or 60. So if you guys can get 3 to 5 people that are in your team to join these calls, then you get to influence them by the things that we spend hundreds of thousands of dollars investing, so that we can turn it around and invest in you. We don't have to do these calls. we very easily could have canceled this call and been in that room right now with all those multimillionaires. But Lisa's like, we're going to do this. And she's like, I said, okay, I believe it. She wrote notes down and came and shared with you guys. So we love you guys. We will see you next Sunday. And guys, look, I'm going to be teaching like LVA in Fairfield, California. You guys should all be at LVA. You all are within 2 to 3 hours of one. You should be at one. So I'm going to turn it over to my wife. Love you guys. Have a great night.
I'll see you in a few minutes.
See you soon, baby.
Stop sharing.